I always hate saying the word "it's so simple" because I used to hear people like that when I was struggling so much. I used to hear people on webinars and, dude, just do this. It's so simple. I'm like, it's not simple. I'm freaking out here.
Welcome to the show that's focused on helping you to find your freedom through real estate investing, wholesaling, fix and flips, and cash flow properties. Find your freedom today. And now, your host, Brock Collins.
Hey, welcome to the Freedom Real Estate Investing Podcast. I'm your host, Brock Collins. Today, our featured guest is Justin Wilmot, and Justin is a real estate investor in Flagler County, Florida. He does about 5 to 6 deals per month. He does wholesales and fix and flips, and I'm glad to have you on. So, Justin, hey man, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Brock.
Absolutely.
Ready?
Yeah, man. And so, hey, for our listeners that haven't met you yet, Justin, take just a few minutes. Tell us about yourself. Help us to get to know you better.
All right, cool. Again, Justin Wilmot, investor out of Flagler County. It's a little beach town in Florida on the Atlantic side. So, yes, we do have surf. Brock asked me right before we jumped in this call, dude, what are you surfing in Florida? There's no waves there. Down the Atlantic side, we got some good surf. So, I actually got into this game by detailing cars.
Really?
Makes no sense, right?
What's the correlation there?
Yeah, right? Yeah, so I was, as a kid, I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur because I was waiting tables, right, here in our beach community, and I just couldn't stand it anymore. So thank God for having a horrible boss, right, because he pushed me into the best thing in the world. Well, at the time, it's been a roller coaster, right, like all entrepreneurs. But thank God for that, because I went ahead and started a yacht management company. In 2000, it's rocketing and rolling. My biggest client, pretty much towards 2008, is 90% of my business. Is at the time the world's most successful luxury condo developer. It's called Ginn Luxury Condos. I mean, they built and bought all of Grand Bahama Banks, right, to build a $16 billion project out there. I mean, making Trump stuff looks, well, I don't want to say small, but comparable, right? And so it was a big deal. And so when 2008 hit, everything crashed, and I scraped to keep that company going. They were the first to go. They were all my clients, and I said, you know what? I'm over detailing all their toys and yachts and cars, and now it's all leaving. But I see opportunity here, right? Where there's, I started getting into self-development. I said, what can I do in real estate now while the sky's falling? And so, of course, I found myself where everybody does, Google. Next thing I was introduced to this thing called wholesaling.
Awesome.
Yeah. And so the rest is kind of history.
All right. So when that yacht company did they just fold in the area? And so did it take a whole bunch of like people with it? I mean, like a ton of like workers and did the economy flatten right there even more because of that?
My company. So I was the one firing everybody.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was the one laying everybody off. And what's crazy is, surfer, small surf town, grew up with a bunch of friends, so I'm hiring all my friends. No,
but you said your number one client was like 90% of your business, and they folded, didn't that what you said?
Yeah, they folded. Yeah,
so that was like the spiral downward, right?
Dude, I threw everything that I had at the time, into marketing to try to scrape and crawl and stay afloat, and wasn't happening.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, Lou, we're talking the luxury market, man. People, even that end was feeling the pinch big time, actually. Yeah. And so they're like, you know what? I'm not spending $1,000 to get my yacht buffed out this week. And so, you can't blame them.
Yeah.
But I did everything, man. I mean, I came up with all kinds of, ingenuity, 1-year contracts and discounted programs and taking all of my money, reserved money, and throwing it into marketing, and it just wasn't happening, dude. I ended up losing the company, dude. I had to bankrupt the company.
Probably like everyone else at that time, basically.
Yeah. But it was a blessing, dude. It was an absolute blessing because it forced me to take this wholesaling thing very serious, and then I hired a coach, and because I was forced, that was it, dude. It was everything. This guy, number one thing is I picked a guy that I just trusted. I don't know if it was a Southern accent or what, right? And I just went with it. I became his most successful student, and we've gone on to do deals together, and here I am, 500 deals plus.
Holy cow. All right, so had you tried to tip your toe in the water you were studying wholesaling a little bit online or whatever, had you tried to do a couple deals without that mentoring and it didn't work out right, or?
Yes, sir.
Ah.
About every course under the sun. And I was going after, I guess, just REOs, and I was just, so naive that I'm looking at size, bedrooms, baths, and square footage, and then the price, like a small price. And so I'm making an offer on these REOs, just gathering whatever information I could from the courses I had, just doing the best I could with what I knew at the time, which is a quote that I love because I feel like everybody does that, right? We always do the best we can with what we know at the time. And so little did I take into account the location, and I ended up putting under contract. I didn't go look at it first, by the way. I ended up putting a contract, a literal, seriously, a crack house.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, needles all over the place. Little that you could tell it's been raided. 6 bedrooms though, that were like all lopsided, like literally makeshift. I mean, it was horrible, dude. I mean, I don't know what they did to these pictures because it sure didn't look like that in the pictures. So I get under contract, and I still think, hey, I got a shot, right? So I do everything under the sun, man. Banded signs, cold calls, Craigslist. I'm knocking it out. I mean, just going hard. Nothing. It flops. I lose $1,000. Picture yourself, at the worst time in your life, right? In between things. I mean, I'm just coming off an extremely successful entrepreneurship. That yacht management company, I'm doing $250,000. I'm 20 years old. That was the life that I thought that's how the world was. I'm like, man, this is awesome. I love being an adult. It was great.
Oh man.
Yeah.
All right. So that deal didn't work out. You lost $1,000, which was just another punch in the face at the time, probably, And so you reached out, and how long were you with a mentor before you were like, you got a deal that worked, that actually turned into dollars?
A month.
Wow, dude, that's quick.
Yep, 1 month. Yep, he just kept telling me what to do. Every time I had to ask other questions, he would remind me, Justin, what did I tell you to do? I said, all right. It was just real simple, man. It was like no more excuses, and no more asking. I learned that asking questions that don't pertain to what's happening right now in your current circumstances is just a crutch to avoid doing what you don't want to do, the uncomfortable. For me, he's like, dude, right now, sky's falling, foreclosures are everywhere. You have to meet an awesome, investor-friendly foreclosure broker. And I said, well, what am I going to do? He goes, well, I'm not in your market, so the first thing I can tell you is go to your local RIA. And here I am, a busted, bruised up kid, surf guy, thinking, why am I going to go to an organization, right, full of professional real estate investors? Who the heck's going to take me serious? What do I have to offer? This is all the thoughts going through my mind. I literally had to take a shot of tequila to go. And force myself. And man, I just, again, dude, like, I just take action, whether it's good or bad. I just take action. That's my thing. Every time I'm nervous to do something, scared to do something, just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. And so I went there. It just so happened that the speaker was a HUD broker, and got the courage that when he got done off the stage, I walked up to him, introduced myself. Maybe it was the tequila had something to do with it. And he goes, you know what? I like you. Take me to Denny's next week. I was like, all right. So I literally went and met him at Denny's the next week, the same time. By the way, Orlando is like an hour and a half, almost 2 hours away from me, right? So I ended up building a cool relationship with the guy. He ends up just being like a mentor of mine, a local mentor, telling me how it works, telling me how HUD properties works. Next thing you know, I do my very first deal with him. Kind of fast forwarding, of course, there was some points to go through, but I am doing a deal with them. My first check I make almost $10,000. After, at this point, dude, I'm almost 2 years into this. 2 years into trying to figure out this wholesaling thing.
Wow.
With these ups and downs, and I'm also getting married to the smoking. I got a smoking hot wife. I'm getting married to her at the same time at this crazy point in my life, right? And I'm like, man, I just got to make this happen, man. I got to man up, So when I got that $10,000 check, dude. Well, I remember that whole ride home, the whole process, man. Life was over, dude. I went gangbusters, man. I went gangbusters. And my coach, once again, said, dude, everything you just did, duplicate it. So I wrote it all down, and I called up. His name was John, right? Call up John. And God bless him. Unfortunately, he just passed away from cancer. I called him up. And I was like, dude, I want to do like 20 more of these. He's like, all right, well, you know what to do. Call me and just text me your bid number. And he gave me the formula for HUD, right? At the time, you could track the numbers. Now they move it around so much you don't know what's going on. But at the time, you could start to get a sense of what numbers are accepting when they're relisted, blah, blah, blah. And dude, we had those numbers on lock. And I was like, 64 cent, 64%. Okay, this one's 72%. Just bam, bam, bam. I do 14 HUD properties in like 4 months, which is tough, dude, because they're 90-day closings. And so I'm at Laura's advantage, which is one of my title attorneys, like every other day. Do it. I'm like, doing what I got to do, man.
Oh my gosh. All right. So you didn't jump in and be like, all right, I got a $10,000 marketing budget. I'm going to go out and I'm going to hit this. You were actually finding free deals on the MLS.
Free deals. It's so cool that you put it in the truth though, like that. A lot of people don't say it. It's true, man. All the foreclosure stuff, it's all free, you know?
Yeah.
And we were kind of mentioning that earlier. That's important to know because, in Florida and hot markets, you're not getting free deals anymore. People going, I can't get any more deals. And for me, the answer is, well, go pay for them now.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's cool to, have a marketing budget to find off-market deals, and you do that. But if you keep, you have cat connections and networking, and you find a cat that's got that deal, maybe it's not listed the right thing, maybe it's been on the market, for 4 months or whatever, and he's like, dude, I'm telling you, these sellers will, they want something to happen, give us an offer, and you get a free deal. It's nice. Those can still happen. They're not going to happen very much in a very hot market.
Yeah.
But still, you can get those free deals. So if you do them at the same time and you plan, hey, I got this marketing budget. But if you get a free deal, it's just icing, man. Just icing.
Dude, I love free deals.
So was there a big learning curve? Did you actually have to take title to the HUD properties, or were you able to assign those?
No, we couldn't assign them. Had to do a simultaneous closing, so I had to do flash funding.
Okay.
And in the state of Florida, we were even, depends on the deal, depends on what's going on, but, doing a simultaneous closing or just getting one-day dough, that they call it, right?
Yeah.
And then I got to the point where I was doing so many deals, I didn't purposely seek private money. It's just private money came to me.
Wow.
Because people just kind of knew, and every now and then on Facebook, I'd like post a deal or something like that. Like, oh, I just got this one, and, I wasn't even a coach or in the education space like I am now. I was just kind of doing it because I was proud of it. Right.
Uh-huh.
And the next thing I know, I got guys coming to me saying, dude, how can I get involved? I'm like, you lend me money.
I could use a mill.
I could use a mill.
Oh man, that's amazing. All right, so how many deals, or about how far into your going in and getting into those till that kind of shut down? Till the HUD homes were like,
Yeah, that started getting tougher towards 2010, like mid 2010, and then I really built a relationship, which I lease a lot of office space here, and I co-op office with the number one broker in our county. Right, he gets all the Fannie Freddies and all the REOs and small everything from the small credit units to the bigger institutional stuff. And so I built that relationship. Okay, and it didn't just happen. Some people are like, oh, I've had people go, dude, well, see, there's your thing. There's where you're lucky. I'm like, no, bro, I put in the time, and I did whatever it takes to show this guy, look, me and you work together. I will make this happen. I gave value, gave him leads, like dead leads that I couldn't wholesale. Just give him leads. And on top of being a cool, like a friendly dude, just, hey, let me take you out for a drink, built the rapport, and started doing some deals with him. So there's where the new leads started coming through. A lot of foreclosures, and we're doing like 6-8 HUD or regular foreclosures a month. So
even still in this market right here?
Heck no, that's dried up now.
All REO market in your area is pretty tough and everything.
It's done. Yeah, and in addition to that, besides the market heating up and people overbidding and overpaying, right? The banks smartened up, if you want to say smartened up, but they started just in the government, they just started pushing us out. 15 days owner occupant only, 60-day seasoning. Then then they open up, if you are cash, it's 10% escrow deposit. By the way, no inspections. So if it's $150,000, you want to give you 15 grand, no contingencies. Yeah, I'm good.
Oh my goodness!
So they just kept like just hammering it down because of this whole the whole HUD stuff, right? I mean, Fannie Mae's getting their new program. HomePath is huge in Florida, so HomePath is really pushing their program in. So it's just all government subsidized programs, knowing exactly what to do to push the investor out, right? They want in, they pushed us out, and then on top of that, they started renovating the properties.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, and it's so funny because like for us, if we would just did a crappy fluff and buff, if our end buyer was getting FHA financing, right? They have an additional inspector come and check out the property, and they'd be like, "Nah, man, you just painted over this broken ceiling. You can't. We're not going to finance your buyer." Sense, right? But they paint over. I mean, dude, I've no exaggeration, gone into so many REOs where the whole damn ceiling is just caved in, and they took primer and just problem and just jack things up. I mean, just horrible stuff. I mean, dude, we're foundation problems in Florida, right? Slapped everything. Most things are block, especially in my county. Depends on, well, there's frame if you go into older areas. But I mean, dude, they'd be puttying stucco and hiding extreme foundation problems. If we did that, they would even report us, right?
Oh, yeah.
But yet they'll do it. So yeah, you know what, man? You got me on a crazy topic, dude. I'll talk about their. They got me heated up. So we had to smarten up and change the methods. Right?
Okay. And so you adjusted when the market shifted, and there's so many different ways and things the market can shift and do. And in this case, it was, they just kind of pushed you out. So you had to go find a new way to find deals.
Yes, sir.
And so tell us about that. As you found that new way, was it a hard learning curve to go out and find off-market deals now and really be like, oh, okay, I see where I got to go to get deals and keep this going?
Mm-hmm. So for me, it was a paradigm shift of just like an aha moment. And from it, I created a training program called the 10-Hour Wholesaler, right? And it's been an extremely successful program. And I put it on paper and distributed it to people in the world because it just changed my life. And so here's what it is. For me, I sat back and said, well, here's what's happening in the market. Everybody's fighting over foreclosures, and they're actually paying more than retail for junk, but they believe they're getting a deal. Or maybe it's worse than they believe they're getting a deal. They just know they're not getting a deal, but they still want to get into real estate and flip their first deal. I just heard that Bravo TV $1 million listing and some of those other flip shows that average 6.5 million viewers per episode. So I'm just saying, like, that's how many people just have this illusion of saying, I just want to get in.
Mm-hmm.
And so my point is, I look at these people and go, well, how can I help them? All right, well, I can get them at least a slightly better deal.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're paying $100,000 for properties that are worth $100,000, surely if I can get them that $100,000 for $90,000, I'll be doing a service to them. And so that was this aha moment. And I did that here locally, right? I started a local real estate investors association. One day, a guy brings me a deal. And he has it under contract. And he's newer. He's been following what I preach at my RIA program and all that. And so he goes, dude, I got this deal on Black Bear, but I don't have any buyers. And I look at it, and I'm like, it's not a spoken hot deal. It probably can't really. There's not enough meat in the bone to really do a flip on it. But there's other factors to make it a good deal. I said, yeah, man. I'll send it out to my list. 30 minutes later, I get somebody. I'll give you. I think I still even remember the number of that deal. It was like one. I know I don't. I want to say 159. And he had it under contract for like 140. And so I put it out at 159. The guy says, I'll give you full price. I just want to lock it up now. And he was one of those guys. He had just bought in a couple foreclosures. And his intention wasn't to flip. He just says, now's a good time to buy, his opinion, right? And I'm just going to lease option these suckers out and ride this tidal wave. It's actually a pretty smart model if you believe that now is a good time to buy, right? Mm-hmm. We can debate that all day. Let it be up to them. Okay? And so he was happy as a cucumber, literally, because he just got out of bidding wars. He's talking to me about how crappy foreclosures are, how much he can't stand them. And here we are. We flip them this deal, make 15 grand. I do it in or 25 grand. I may do it in 45 minutes. I was like, I should be able to do this anywhere. And I was like, well, as long as I have buyers, I should be able to do this, right? Like, so why couldn't I just go do this anywhere? And so I just tested it. I started testing it in Central Florida, and then I got a little further, a little South Florida, and I got a little further, and I went to Jacksonville, and I was like, yeah, it works. And so we built a model where we just shop for the buyer, right? Which is not necessarily a brand new concept, right? Reverse wholesaling. Some people have heard the term. But I do it by shopping for the retail cash buyer, retail
Mm-hmm.
cash buyer.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when I say retail buyer, people are like, well, you need cash. So what I mean by that is anybody that's buying full retail, which is on public records, it is our job and our duty to find them and introduce what we can do for them.
Hmm. That's such an interesting model. It may not, your market has to be primed for it. Your market has to be hot, inventory, people, you're in that spot. Florida's in that spot. Arizona's probably in spot. California. And there's probably lots of other areas that are like that. And I honestly, Justin, I don't know anyone, and I haven't talked to anyone recently that's doing anything like that. It's such a genius another way to adjust to the market, give the market what it wants, and make a handsome profit in between.
Yep. And you're doing service to everybody. Think about when we do our direct mail campaign, I'm not trying to get them, right? And it's a motivated seller where most people are like, oh man, it's worth 100, right? It needs like 5 to 10,000 repairs. I need to get this thing under contract for 55, 65. Dude, I mean, come on. The top market, you think that's going to happen? They're like, no, I'm going to call a realtor right now and get a listing MLS. And so we can provide a service by giving them still a quick cash deal so that they can just move on. And, of course, we'll hit them with the pain points of what it's like listing on the MLS. And then they'll agree and they'll say, hey, if you can get me out of here in 30 days, I'll do it. And so we still give them something close to what they want, right? We give them what I call a justified offer. Because if you take all that stuff out of, you fix and flip properties, you're asking 185, you end up accepting 179, and then your net to seller is like 153. You're like, what the hell? That's 189 for this thing. Where's my juice? And so I took that concept from flipping so many of my own properties. I'm like, well, let me just do a justified offer, and then so I have them where they're happy. And I already have my buyer where I know what they're willing to pay. So then if that makes sense, then I'll go ahead and put it in a contract, right, and flip it over to this guy.
All right. Take a minute. Talk to us about the best deal you've ever done. And it could be like the highest profit. It could be just the funnest. It could have been a great experience. But talk to us about a really great deal you've done and how you found it, and then the process from start to finish and how that worked for you.
Cool. I'm almost tempted to say like the most profitable one, but you just said, you just said the most funnest or the most whatever.
Yeah.
And I think I'd go back to that property on Black Bear Lane that I just said.
Yeah.
Because that was the one because think about
everything clicked.
Yeah. I mean, this whole model came from that, right? And how I do deals now came from that. And so the return on that deal is ridiculous. And on top of that, I made a coaching program or in a membership program where there's thousands of people making money on that now. So I would say that little property on Blackberry that some people would call a co-wholesale deal, I don't really necessarily define it that way, right? Because we still put it under contract and flipped it over to our end buyer, right? So I think that deal is probably the most memorable deal besides, if I can say most profitable. I did one on a saltwater canal deal, and it was from a probate, and there was 15 heirs to the property. All over the place, dude. It was freaking madness.
Oh my gosh!
The people, they were so in such despair, so much trouble, they couldn't afford to move. So we wrote them a check for a U-Haul to get them out. When I first looked at the property, no exaggeration, dude, I still have nightmares of this stuff, dude. Every single corner of this house, every corner, mass amounts of cobwebs with spiders in them. We're in Florida. They're not regular spiders. They're black widows.
Oh my gosh.
So, dude, I have pictures of it, man. I wonder if I would
Wait,
have time.
People were living there?
Not only were people living there, they had children in there too.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, living with no exaggeration, and our contractors were like, "No way, man, I'm not going in." So we bombed it right before our contractors went in. But that became one of the most profitable deals. It's not, you don't really make $100,000 personally here in Florida. It's tough to make $100,000 on a deal, so that became a really good deal.
Holy cow. All right. So, some of our listeners will be like, all right, you're taking care of right now money. You're wholesaling these deals. You found a great model to twist the wholesale a little bit, and you're making really good money. Do you do any other exit strategies for future money?
Yeah, right now I'm taking all my profits and putting it into multifamily. So, yes. Truthfully, right now I'm in just the acquisition phase, as many as possible. I have 3 right now that I'm working. And so one of the best ones is a 10-unit that I have going on in South Florida. So that is my new long-term
Nice.
goal.
And,
Used to be like, my mindset before was like, man, if I have this fix and flip model, or this wholesale model, cash flow model all the time, I really don't need to worry about that. And to a degree, it's true, but you still need to like operate it, and you still need to. And there's just nothing like having tenants paying down your debt.
yeah.
I mean, in the end, I just learned the most simplest concept from a mentor of mine. It's like, man, just look, dude, take the wholesale profits, put 20% of it. Any bank's going to finance you, right, with 20% down, and just start buying multifamily. And I started looking into it, met up with a broker, commercial broker, and so I've been on this quest ever since.
And has that been a big learning curve for you on how to make the formulas and ratios work?
Yeah, you know what? I was never good at school, man. And so there's more math involved, right? But it's not difficult math,
Yeah.
cap rates. It's not hard to find out, once you understand the terminology and NOIs and all that. Once I got it, but at first it was a learning curve.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: can you find off-market multifamily deals that are mom and pop owned rather than big commercial owned?
Well, I'd imagine you could just do a direct mail campaign to them too.
Well, I'm kind of asking: is that what you do in your area, or?
No. I've been using just LoopNet.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, you're probably about to kill it then. Now that if you've got a campaign out.
Yeah. Thank you. Writing that one down.
Because the cool thing is on those, usually if it's 5 or 10 units or better, seller will take their 20% back. You get the funding at the commercial portfolio loan, and you're in at nothing, and everybody's happy. And
yeah.
And
I've heard that plenty of times. I've just never done it, or never even attempted that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's the cool thing about those multifamilies. So, man, you might just about explode your market now.
Thank you for that.
Oh, dude. So you're moving in that market. You've totally opened up your mind, and you're setting yourself up to retire rich with real estate with these apartment buildings. Justin, take a minute. Tell us how real estate investing, by accidentally getting in this business when the market took your other business away, how's real estate investing? How has it, or how will it help you to find your freedom?
Oh man, dude, it already has. I'm going to look. My thing is, as you know, surf, travel, right? All March, I'm already booked tickets. My house, I booked a house in March in Costa Rica. I'll be there all freaking March, right? Spending the winter there. That's good enough for me, man.
Yeah. So you've got the freedom of time, come and go as you want. You choose. There's, and it can run while you're gone.
It can run while I'm gone. I'm a big systems guy, right? And I wasn't before, but I am now. I say before, I mean like 6 years ago. The past 4 years, I've been, past 4 years. Big systems guy and big staff guy. My quote that I adopted like 3 years ago was, I never want 100% of any profit of any deal, because that means I did 100% of the work.
Ah.
And so my operations manager, right up the top, she's getting 20%. Right? But there's deals that we can do that I don't even know the addresses of. We just closed that one on Farragut. I didn't know we had one there, but thanks. Great.
Here's your 20%. Keep them coming.
Yeah. So, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. And of course, you got to put your time in and grind in to build the system and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it's worth it. For me, I just set it up because that's always been my model. I always want to be able to surf. I always want to be able to go travel the world with my family. I got a 2-year-old and a 2.5-year-old and a 2-week-old right now.
Mm-hmm.
So the biggest thing is just being able to still enjoy life at this age. I'm not the kind of guy. I want to enjoy now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Tomorrow's not promised.
Tomorrow's not promised.
Prepare for tomorrow, but play it a little bit today, and reward yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
And what advice would you give to investors who are just getting started? And before you share that advice, I want to bring up that one of the guys you said told you, oh, there you go again. You're lucky. You're lucky, Justin. And I've always told from my mentor years ago that luck is when preparation meets opportunity. You put your time in, you put your dues in, and you kept going. And when the market shifted, you shifted. So my hat's off to you for that, and thanks for sharing your journey on that. From your journey, and you've met so many newbies along the way, what advice would you give to investors who are just getting started?
Pure, unadulterated focus. And what does that mean? I think people can't wrap their mind around focus because we're so sidetracked. I mean, the word focus almost doesn't make sense to people. I know it didn't to me. I was literally ADD, the whole nine. Never, don't take any Ritalin, any pills. Although I am big into nootropics these days. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. So that after the call. Pretty cool. Pure unadulterated focus. Whatever the heck it is that you're doing, you need to dominate it first. Get really dang good at it and man up or woman up and stop being a technician, right? And start putting people in place. That's my advice to people. Document everything. You can do it on paper. You can do it on Word format. Or you can do it like I do it and do it digitally in video format, right? We use Jing.com. And every single step that I take in my business, put in a module. Okay? Then we make somebody responsible for it. Only at that time will I pick my head up when I'm like, okay, this is moving. We just did another deal, just another deal in this market. We got a good buyers list here. We're doing deals. Okay. Only at that point will I pick my head up to look around at what else is out there. You know, plenty of guys, dude, you're leaving money on the table. Like you just told me a great method, right? About owner carrybacks, right? And 20, you know, look, they'll even carry your 20%. Dude, and I said, you know what, dude, I've heard that, but the reason I haven't pursued that is because I just don't have personally, and I don't believe most people do, the bandwidth to freaking look at that model and get good at it and build a sustainable lifestyle off of that. Even though I really, truly am leaving lots of money on the table. You know, that makes sense, though?
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't be good at what I'm doing.
Yeah.
That's me. I believe it's a lot of people. There are some really smart people out there that can handle all of it at once. But only now that I have my business operating, right, well-oiled with other people, will I look up and look at, like, you know, probably call you up tomorrow and be like, hey, man, can we talk a little more about that?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
You bet.
So only now will I do that. And so that's my biggest focus is I would just encourage people to just stay focused, whatever it is. You know, a lot of people, like, I hear a lot of, like, guru bashing out there. And the truth is, in my world, I don't, because I don't associate around with losers, but I don't know anybody that's got a BS product. I truly don't. Now, I've seen a couple guys on Facebook, right? But I don't know anybody that's got a BS product. And so my point is, I think a lot of people love to use that as an excuse. Oh, there's somebody pushing some BS, you know? And in the end, nah, it's not that it doesn't work, it's do you work. Now, I will agree, there are definitely methods that make more sense in certain markets at certain times of whatever's happening. That's without question. But I think if you really put your mind to it and worked hard, you make any method work. I don't care if it's wholesaling apartment buildings, if it's notes, right? If it's texting, whatever, dude. I mean, you make it happen.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
I would. And, you know, I think a challenge is, you know, new investors to get systems and to allocate it like you have for, you know, you give your gal 20% to make things roll in your office, right? I think a lot of investors can't wrap their mind around it because they haven't done their first deal. And so you may have to get underneath, get dirty, and do your first deals, understand the process, and you know, and then you can easily put those systems like Justin has into place.
Yeah, commit to being uncomfortable. It goes back to the story from the beginning. Man, I was, you know, dude, hey, if it takes a little bit of tequila to do that, then right? Dude, I believe like it's our obligation, man, to succeed. Like, and this is like a core thing for me, man. I hate seeing people struggle at a job because they hate it. And man, I remember that when you have to go do something that you hate, like you're getting up at 9 o'clock to go help the owner of whatever this place is live their life, so they can spend a month in Costa, right? And man, it's just like, that's, to me, it's just so industrial. We were built that way and it was great for the time, right? In the industrial age. It built America. It was beautiful, but it's just changed, in my opinion. I feel like I'm decently educated. I read a lot of books, man, you know? I spend more time reading than watching the Kardashians. So, you know? So I think it's just stepping outside of the comfort zone, you know, and just whatever it takes to do that. Just know that I believe you'll be okay, you know, as long as you're just making it a goal to always be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
If you're comfortable, it should be alarming, right?
Yeah. And when you get to the spot you're not uncomfortable again, you need to go out and get uncomfortable again.
Boom.
Yeah.
Boom. Dude, it would make me very uncomfortable to even do a direct mail campaign to multifamily and land the, you know, motivated seller with 20 units and then ask them to do a 20% carryback.
But I know you'll do it.
But I'll do it.
Yes, sir. Oh, dude. All right. So you're an avid reader, and let's talk about a freedom resource. Talk to us whether it's about business, real estate investing, a book that you've read, maybe that's helped you that you think could help our listeners to find their freedom through real estate investing or in business.
Or in business. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. So, and for life in general, I believe like the Bible for negotiations. None of the marketing crap, NLP, all that crap out there, right? I call it crap. I mean, some people do okay with it. I think the only thing that matters is how to win friends and influence people, which is the truth, in my opinion, by Dale Carnegie. How to Win Friends and Influence People. I'm sure you've read it. Mm-hmm. Okay, I believe that that's the truth. Those tiny, such simple concepts. If you could just adopt a few of them,
yeah,
like one of them, just stare and listen to somebody when they talk. Imagine if you were not that person, but you adopted that one thing. Mm-hmm. Your whole life changes. It's so simple, Yeah. I always hate saying the word "it's so simple" because I used to hear people like that when I was struggling so much. I used to hear people on webinars and dude, just do this. It's so simple. I'm like, it's not simple. I'm freaking out here.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But you just try to wrap your mind around something like that. Like the simple things do matter. It's not the complicated things. It's not the software system that does 60 million things and things come out of your computer and whoa, look what I'm doing. It's not that stuff.
Yeah.
It's just getting really, really good and real simple.
Really good, real simple. Educate yourself and hustle. Never give up. Ooh. Love it. Dude, talk to us about the 10-Hour Wholesaler. I want you to take a minute and just plug that for our listeners because I think there's a great value in it. So tell us how our listeners can get a copy of that, how they can reach out to you and connect with you, Justin.
Cool. Shameless plug time. I love it.
Get it.
Cool. 10-Hour Wholesaler, man. You get us at 10hourwholesaler.com/special report. Or you can even just go to 10hourwholesaler.com and watch the video that I put together that literally shows how it did this whole thing, right? From start to finish. It's if anything, it's just should be an inspirational story, right? And an educational story. Mm-hmm. And it's all in video. And if you want to join, you'll see the opportunity to join at the end of the video. So that's 10hourwholesaler.com or 10hourwholesaler.com/special report. I'd like for you to go there because I put a lot of time into making that bad of the bone special report. So I'd like more people to see it, the better.
Yeah. Yeah. And you might be missing out on the extra goodies he put in that special report. So make sure you grab that.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, it took us like a month to put that together.
Oh my gosh. That's a lot of time to be away from a dollar producing business,
Dude, for sure.
Or surfing. And that's just as valuable.
You know it, man. You know it.
Oh man, Justin, dude, I want to thank you for taking your time out of your day. I know you've been swamped today. In fact, when we started this call, Justin had to pause and do some texting for some deals he's got going. So, dude, thanks for just peeling time out, being with us today, and sharing your journey along the way, man. Appreciate it.
Right, man, you're good people, dude. Thank you.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks for listening to the Freedom Real Estate Investing Podcast at freedomrealestateInvesting.com. Be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and give the show a 5-star rating on iTunes today.
This podcast is provided for general information and should not be considered investment, legal, tax, business, or any other professional advice. Any earnings or future earnings are not typical results. You agree that you are hereby fully responsible for the use of this content and hold the presenter, publisher, and company harmless for any and all claims.